Hi, everyone. This is Nilesh here. Thanks for joining me on this live. We are actually going to be joined by a few more people, hopefully. But I'm the first one here. So thanks for joining in. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the community tools and things going on around community tools. And what are some of the different platforms being offered currently on AppSumo, as well as some of the other LTDs. I don't see that many exciting tools coming up recently, so I haven't myself been purchasing any LTDs. I've also been busy with some other projects, but hoping that will change and we'll see some more promising tools coming up. Nothing exciting coming up these days, and there is in fact a lot more ordinary tools coming in, so which is kind of a shame because you want to see good founders, you want to see promising tools which will help your businesses, but such is the nature of lifetime deals. It can get pretty risky. So okay, with that, I am just going to see if Ruhani is ready to join, and let me see. So I'll give you a few more minutes here for folks to join. But thanks again for tuning in, and I've been doing this live after such a long time. So there we go.
Hello.
Hey, Ruhani, how's it going? Can you hear me clearly, first of all?
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, excellent.
How about
I hope
myself?
you're...
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very, very clearly as well. And thanks
Yeah,
for
my
tuning
microphone
in.
is up there.
Okay. So, what mic are you using now?
DT D3 Pro.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
the video mic, right? So,
yes. So I just positioned it outside the frame.
oh yeah, that's one of those shotgun type of super cardioid mics, right? Like you can pick up polar patterns from quite a distance. I mean, so that's very
it's
neat.
about 1/4 meter away from. Maybe 1 feet away from me.
That's pretty neat. I've been thinking of that. I don't know if I shared my picture. I took
I saw. Oh my God, you went crazy on shopping.
yes, and I have basically all the lights and everything. But one of the things which is missing is the mic, and I was looking at daddy mics. I mean, like the go-to mic to go to is like.
I can tell you the benefit. So
yes,
in my camera, I reduce the volume.
Yes.
So I do not use the preamplifier from the camera because the camera preamplifier is not great as the mic itself. So DT comes with a variable booster.
Yes.
So you can gain the volume hardware wise, means you can, from the hardware, you can gain. So I put the volume in the camera as 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And in the DT, I set it as 7. So I went through a few iterations of testing and so on to reduce echoes and all those stuff. Yeah.
Neat. Data is a very good company, and it's a real value for the money. I mean, they're competing with the very high-end mics, right? Like, I mean, if you look at the same category, what they're competing against, it would cost you like 3-4 times the money, right? Like, I mean,
definitely.
So they are punching above their weight for sure, and doing well, which is always good to see. Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of folks haven't, because recently we haven't been posting much. I think there is a
Yeah,
shortage of good lifetime deals coming. There is a lot more
yeah,
mediocre type of deals, I would say. I don't want to like upset people, but there is a lot of mediocre type of deals coming up. And
yeah. To be honest, and that is one of the reason I stopped buying as well.
yes,
In fact, I'm buying older things. I
yeah,
just bought from somebody else. Flick.
yes,
There's a product Flick,
yes,
and once I explored it, it has a lot of potential. It's kind of like a sleeper tool, like
yeah.
it's hiding there. Nobody is actually bothering about it. But when you go and look around it, you can create tutorials pretty easily, video tutorials using screenshot, and
Yes,
these are some of the things we can use.
yes. Fleek is actually a pretty good tool. I used Fleek at some stage, and then part of it I used. So one of my main interests of creating videos was like, specifically for that adoption practice. I think I might have mentioned to
Right.
you before, and where you take certain things, like when you deploy an app in an enterprise, you want people to adopt
Mhm.
it and use it. And basically, if they're using it, if they get addicted to it, they're never going to get rid of it. And that's how organizations will have to pay more money to companies
Mhm.
like Microsoft, Cisco, and things like that of nature.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if the application is part of your integral process,
Yeah.
then you're going to pay a recurring subscription fee for it, keep using it.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
so the whole goal for a lot of these organizations has always, so I built like a lot of like a training type of things around Fleek. It's
Yeah.
really really good for that. It did become a little bit cumbersome for me to like time consuming for sure to build it, like
Mhm.
versus recording the video
Yes.
itself.
Yes. Yeah.
But for certain tasks, yes, it's absolutely like
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it a tutorial, like you want to focus on certain things, and then you take the screenshots and explain it. So
yes,
it's kind of like a explainer video kind of thing, not
yes.
really video, not in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think, I mean, back in the day, like, because when it came on
Hmm.
Sumo, it was probably like, I think it was back recently, but probably has been 3 years, like when first it came on
Right. Right.
AppSumo. And back in the day, it had all these like text to speech kind of features where you just
Yes. Yes.
copy paste or write stuff and it will convert it
Hmm.
into your audio file
Yes.
kind of thing, right? Which is pretty neat at
Yeah.
the time. Yes.
I realize that you can also use these in a sense. If you want to use this, you can create a small bite-sized tutorial for TikTok,
Yes.
and TikTok is pretty popular. People showing off Photoshop tips and tricks, or how to do
Really?
this and that in 30 seconds, and those are popular. I have seen some TikTok that got a few millions of likes for like
Wow.
small stuff, like how to so what they do, see, the people become so innovative in a way. The TikTok is basically vertical, no, yeah, vertical screen, right?
Yes.
So they resize their Photoshop into a phone screen size, and they
Yeah.
edit it there and record the screen, so it's perfect for TikTok.
Wow.
And you can see the I mean the innovative mind of people to achieve things in TikTok, right? And there are
Yes.
a few tutorials, and I was like so amazed. So now in my feed, because I like them, in my feed I see a lot more tutorials because of the TikTok algorithm. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And are you on TikTok? Like, do you use TikTok? Like, do you post stuff on TikTok?
I don't. So I'm like a hidden guy over there,
Yeah.
and I just like, and my name is something very random name, so it's not used to actually post anything. But yes, I'm actually planning to go on TikTok. I'm thinking the catch and bait method that TikTok is using lately, that they even post articles in that manner. So I'm studying it in that sense.
Nice. Nice, because you got a massive following on Twitter. So
Yeah,
I think,
I just have to make use of it properly. I mean, it just happened during the early days of Twitter, and all those uh, communication. We just need to reconnect all those people. Most of them are still, you know, active, and they are all from the tech industry in Silicon Valley. Almost all of them. Yes.
very cool.
What
Let
about
me
you?
let me just show you
What have
some.
you?
Oh, sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. What about you? What's new on your side? I mean, I have seen your shopping, and I went crazy. Oh my god, that was beautiful.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Got some good stuff, and I want to set it up. I'm thinking of getting a YOLO box live as well, so I could do more live
Mm.
streams and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
more impromptu. You don't have to prepare so much with Yellow
yes,
Box.
yeah, yeah. You're
Mm.
absolutely right. And one of the things is like, I think I was a little bit stuck on 4K. But I know you
Yeah,
have a point around 1080p, and I think you are right.
yeah,
I think I should just stick to 1080p and not worry too
yeah,
much. But Ronnie, we have a few folks
yeah,
joining, and just want to say hi
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
been a long time.
yeah.
Sajwal is saying,
Let's take a look.
yes, Sajwal is saying
Hi,
English's
Sajal.
new background. Sajwal is a troublemaker, but in a good way, which I really like about Sajwal.
Yeah.
So, he keeps
He
everybody.
is like our SAS police.
Yes, no, he definitely keeps everybody sane and
Hi,
honest.
Sam. Yeah.
I admire that about Sajwal. So, thanks, Sajwal. Good to see you here. Hopefully, if you want to join, you're welcome to join as well. Yes. So then I have seen like 8 rants about Fleet. Okay.
Yeah.
Fleet. Yes. You gotta. Who is this? Yes, Sajwal, go ahead. Tell us about what those rants are for sure. um, I'm sure he knows more than. Yeah, I haven't been checking much what's going on, but I'm sure there is a lot of exciting stuff always going on, right?
Yeah.
Patrick is saying, "Hello, just got here. What
Yeah.
is SAS Tribe, please?" Patrick, we are going to do a DAO, like a decentralized autonomous organization. We want to basically, it's going to be truly in a decentralized way, although we want sane people to manage it. So we'll have a lot of folks, good people like Ruani, Joe, Win, Ankit. We've got a whole bunch of folks. Sajwal will have everybody. And it will be based on community consensus. So this is our community, and welcome to join. I think as part of the DAO, but we'll keep you posted. We want to take things slowly. We are all about quality tools, and we value good founders at the same time good users as well. If you see any of us, we're not pushing for any shady stuff. So that's basically it. So SAS Tribe is like a community. So there we go. Which microphone brand were you talking about earlier? That's from Tom. Tom, it's called Deity, like Deity.
Yeah.
Deity is a very popular brand. Check them out. The Deity S Mic 2 is quite popular. S Mic 2S. The Deity Video Mic bundle is quite popular, which Rohani is using. I'm using the Rode Podcaster, and it's okay. I like it, but you have to hold it close to it. And when you
Right.
have like a shotgun mic, again, it all depends on the acoustics and how treated your environment is for sound. Because like if you have like one of those super cardioid mics, it can pick up polar patterns. So if there is some music going on my background from outside in downtown Toronto, it can pick it up very easily, or like a fire truck passing by or something, and you can hear it really loudly. So yes, I mean, you can do some sound treatment by the time it reaches you and process it. But those dating mics are good mics. Hello, is that a live stream software? Yes, it is a live stream software. It is Ecamm Live, but a live stream, yes. Welcome to ask any questions to Ruhani as well. Ruhani does a lot of live streams and testing. So, Ruhani, what's your favorite live stream soft tool right now?
I mean, I can't compare with Ecamm, of course, but Ecamm, they have their own standard on top. But to be honest, I'm liking more and more in wave.video. And second to it is Melon. And I must say I'm a bit blindsided, or you can say biased, for Melon, because I really truly love Logitech products. Yes. I just ordered $500 equivalent of $500 equivalent of keyboard and mouse from Logitech. Is the G913 TKL, the shorter version of the keyboard, and their Hero mouse 502. Yes. So it is about $500 altogether. I just did it last night because I have 502. You can see here.
Yes.
And it's an amazing mouse. And like now I'm working on 34-inch screen. I need my mouse to be fluent and fluid. And it's doing the job. It's like, it's pretty amazing how they work. And I have been using them for so long. Like how many years? Maybe 10, 15 years? Yeah.
Neat. Yeah, I mean,
beside Restream, I would say that web.video already picked up the pace tremendously, especially I think we have seen before the permission screen. So basically you can run professional stream, like you have a handler who manages all the communication between guests and assign them on the screen and all those things. You can do it on web.video. Melon is pretty close. They just fixed the Facebook group things. So you can now post Facebook group comments. So it's pretty much done. The only complaint we had is basically the Facebook group comments. So now they actually fixed it.
Yes. One of the most interesting and I would really like to go back to the topic of YOLO Box Live Pro,
yes.
because it's an interesting one. But let me just say, so Patrick, stay tuned, and we will talk a little bit more about live stream. The one which we are using right now is Ecamm Live. It's connecting to Restream, and we're streaming to Facebook, as well as Facebook page group, as well as the YouTube channel. So for for multi-channel streaming, I'm using Restream. For production of the video, I'm using Ecamm Live Pro. Ecamm Live, again, a great community, but OBS is amazing too. Like, depends what you use. If you're a Mac user, Ecamm Live would be good. If not, OBS is fine too. So Arthit is here. Hey Arthit, how are you doing? Sam is here. Sam is back after watching a movie, I think. So Sam, if you would like to join in some time, let us know. You're welcome to join. And then, so thanks again, Tom, Arthit, Patrick,
everyone, thank you,
Sajral, welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks.
So I'm going to show a secret stuff, but let me hear the story of the yellow box from Nilesh first.
Yes. So I've been looking into YOLO Box Pro, and Vineet is saying, is this going for many hours? We just started, Vineet, so you never know. We could be here for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't challenge us. We could be here for for a very long time. So, yes, yeah, no. I hope we can wrap it up on time and give back people some more quality time to spend over on the weekend with their families and loved ones. Right? I'm sure, Ron, it's Sunday afternoon for you, so you have some plans as well later on. But going back to YOLO Box Live Pro, I was looking into the features and functionality, and just for a quick live stream, right? I mean, yes, like I would like to see certain things in it. I mean, I one of the things from my perspective, like of course, if you're going to do a 4K streaming box, it can be extremely expensive. So there is no 4K streaming. And then the second part which is missing was the guest feature. So there is no guest feature there. And I'm not sure what YOLOBox is going to do to add that feature. But if you are...
I think they can...
Yeah, go ahead.
I think they can take the approach how Ecamm did it. So they can let you email or using your phone to send out a link to your guest. You just have to accept it from your phone.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I think YOLOBox has been testing some sort of a cloud service.
Yeah.
And the feedback people are giving about YOLOBox Pro has been quite amazing. And the fact that you can stream to multiple channels right through the YOLOBox, right, simultaneously. It might not be as many channels as what Restream supports, but you can stream, right? I mean, if you calculate the cost of Ecamm Live, right? If you calculate the cost of Restream, right? And Restream, costs a fortune. Like if you're a subscription-based user for Restream, it's a no-brainer, right? Like, stop that subscription and go with YOLOBox because apparently the unified chat for YOLOBox works really well. You can add different types of overlays. It has 3 HDMI ports. It has a mic in. It has an HDMI out as well in a monitor mode, right? And then you have your your Wi-Fi Ethernet connection, like an RJ45 port actually, and then you have a 4G connection. I don't know if it's 5G, but I think it's a 4G connection. But which is quite remarkable for the value for the money. And I think it's just about $1,400 US or something. So by the time you calculate the cost of your machine and all the softwares and stuff, YOLOBox is like pretty remarkable value.
Yes.
Have you thought about getting it, Ronnie?
Actually, I studied it quite a lot. Then I realized it might not be. I might not be the correct consumer for it because I'm not outside that often. I mean, I'm riding my bike and stuff, but I'm not in a situation that I want to do a live from a remote location.
Yes.
Not yet. Maybe someday I will have that. So I kind of put it on a stack that if I'm remote and I want to do a live, so I will need this. It makes sense because the box is ready to go. That is the most important part. So you just take it on your car, your camera or whatever, then you just drive wherever you are going or you're flying somewhere and you do the live from there. All you need is a 4G card, 4G internet. That's it. It's so simple.
Yes, absolutely.
But of course, when you go simple, you sacrifice some other things like the level of customization you do in Ecamm or Restream.
You're right.
You won't be able to do that. But do you really need that all the time? It's not necessary. It's more important for YOLOBox to be live from a point of view that is very difficult for you to bring your computer and stuff and get it done, right?
Yes. And the interesting part about it was like it had all the overlays built, like you can build custom overlays. You can add video files, picture in picture, chroma keying, like you can do green screen and stuff like that. And it just seemed to
Yeah,
work
yeah,
like out of the box. And I was like, wow, these guys are gonna. And the feedback has been that the team is so like receptive to comments. Like you give them feedback, and within weeks that they're implementing new. They're like
yes,
every time you connect your YOLO box, they have an update for
yeah,
you with new features,
yes.
and the features seem to work really well. It's not like a
And the
buggy or
important
something.
part that
Yeah.
the new updates doesn't break the system. That is very important for a hardware device like this. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, very important and something which which is hard to achieve as well, right? For because
Yes, very hard, very hard.
so Jaideep is saying, what you guys are thinking about upcoming deal of SpyFo?
I'm
I'm
actually,
not sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm also very doubtful. So Nilesh, I'm going to show an insight of my spending. And recently I did something. I did a Notion template for keeping
Yes,
your LTD in check.
yes,
So I just migrated that template, imported the data into another app that I actually tested tier one. Then I realized that it is a no code database application, Fusio, and it works tremendously. So I'm just
yes.
going to share a snippet of knowledge that I actually gathered from it.
Mhm.
Uh, just 1 second. So let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. Just a second. Let me do something very quickly. Give me a few minutes and we
Yeah.
will be. No, one
So while you're
second.
reading, getting ready for that, I reply to getscreen.me. So personally, I use getscreen.me almost every day, or at least 5, 6 times a week to manage my mom's, my kids' computer, my girlfriend's one, and few others, few of my friends. So the whole reason being is for me, tier one is just more than enough. And the whole reason I use it because of simplicity, and it works out. I have been using it nearly 1 year now, and I have no reason to go back to TeamViewer or any other things. Because for my mom, she can use it so simply, and it's very important for me that I can remotely support my mom. So I think Hauzifa Farouk asked about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. I am almost there. So there we are. Hopefully,
So
people can people can see the screen, right? So yeah,
yeah, I think it's live.
yes, yes,
So let me explain a little bit. A lot of people still talking about that. So what I analyzed from here, that you can see
yes,
my 2021 spending. Uh, it's about 10,000 USD that went out, and on the top left, you can see the platform cost is basically AppSumo Plus or similar things I used in some other platform,
yes,
and that was the expense. And from out of that, I have a savings of $3,800. So when people say $99 AppSumo Plus, whether it is required or not, it depends on how much you are buying. So from this calculation, it's clear to me that I saved $3,890 from spending 734, right?
yes.
And and that makes sense for me. But if you look at my 2022 trend, my spending has gone down quite a lot. And
which is a good thing.
yeah, which is definitely a good thing. Also,
Yeah.
I realized you see this middle bar on the most purchase types, right? I have categorized, and I noticed that I actually like to support WordPress plugin developers. So look at my purchase bar for the because my head is actually hiding that area. So the long bar in the middle is actually WordPress plugins that I have spent most money on that, because I believe that WordPress plugins are much more ROI uh, than other tools. Because from my experience, I have seen that most WordPress plugins didn't die.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean,
You're
people
100%
were
right. It's a lot safer to put money
say that. Yeah,
into, because I mean, yes, there is an overhead because there is always improvements and features and things like that.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's a different kind of overhead. It's not like like an infrastructure cost or anything like that. Everybody's
yes,
self-hosting the plugin, so there is
yeah.
no like a recurring hosting cost, cloud
Hosting cost and
services.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes, I mean, maybe some other types of services for marketing and email, but yeah, those are
mhm.
understandable. Those are negligible, right? Like, I mean, for the most part,
Yes, yes, yes.
it's a safe
They
bet.
are pretty solid. Yeah, they are pretty solid. WordPress plugins. So I spend most of the money in WordPress plugins, and underneath the two bars at the bottom, these two are digital marketing tools and live streaming software.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, live streaming software is good. Like, that's something which you have a setup. That's something which you're passionate about as well,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so spending money on things which you are actually using, yes, I understand that part, right? What I don't understand is
Yeah.
people thinking, uh, that, hey, I am going to use that software. And of course, in your mind, you're going to always find a use for every single software, and everything is going to
Yes.
look good. But
Yeah.
3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, if you reflect back on your decision, you're going to be
Yes.
thinking, hey, what was I thinking when I actually bought this software, right?
Exactly.
This is
Exactly.
like,
Let me show you
yeah,
the dark side of this. So in my screen, I'm going to use my filter. It's called not using, right? So you can see I have $4,500 unused. This
yes,
is scary because this is a money lost, considered lost,
yes,
right? For me, if I bought for example, if I bought a Sony camera or a DJI drone,
yeah,
it has more lifetime than these lifetime deals, the ones I'm not using. So
100%.
yeah, so these
And
are
they
these are the
actually
things we
come
don't
with
track. Yeah,
they actually
yeah,
come
they
with
actually
not just like warranty and stuff, like, but there are
yes,
consumer protection laws around it and things like that, right?
yes,
I mean, LTD world is like the wild west, where
yes,
like there are no, like, I mean, AppSumo is making rules like every time, like making rules on their own. I'm not even sure if they would legally stand, but
yeah,
I mean, if you look at some of those rules, terms, and conditions, they're quite funny, right? They would have no
yes,
legal standing in a lot of countries where there are consumer protection laws and things of that nature, but hasn't stopped them from, making that as their legal rules, right? Like,
yes,
so,
yeah. So
uh,
my
yeah,
point showing this data is to let everybody understand that your spending is very nice feeling of spending, but then your money is locked. So this is something that a phone, a speaker, or a microphone, you can actually sell it off if you do not use, right?
yes,
And this is the advantage of physical products. So I'm just requesting everyone to be aware of how they're buying things, because I realized after pulling off all this data that okay, I have spent nonsense amount of money for nothing.
Yeah.
And what I have realized that my
Scary.
top spenders, my top spending, for example, something I paid 399 is unused. So
Yeah.
I'm using the smaller scale ones, the smaller value ones I'm actually using, but the bigger ones I haven't used none of it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the thing is, like, you read all these comments, and but and
yeah,
then you get sort of like influenced in the way that thinking that, wow, this is something you could benefit from and profit from, but no software is
yeah,
going to help you in reality if you don't have a skill to do something, or if you don't have something to sell, or if you don't have something to offer, right? And when you do actually have that, you don't need any of these tools to actually sell, right? I mean, when you start a business or something, and I had like the bare minimum tools, right? But what you do have is a skill set. You have certain contacts, and you don't need
yes,
like the best CRM in the world. What you need is a phone call and an email account to just email them and meet
yes,
them or call them, right? I mean,
yes,
so, and that's where majority of my business like would come from, is like by calling people, going for a lunch meeting. No
yes,
LTD is going to help me actually do that,
yes,
right? So
exactly.
yeah,
And that is the bigger part of the game. I mean, if you do not meet the people and if you do not seal the deal, right? How is your LTD going to help you? Not really. It won't be able to help you on that.
not really. And yes, I mean, there was a question Jaideep answered, a question asked, like, what are you guys thinking about upcoming deal of SpyFu? Yes, I mean, SpyFu is like a proven tool.
Mm,
Is it useful to me? I mean, it is honestly not useful to me personally. So I'm not even like thinking about it. And for I bet for 99% of the people who would buy it, it might be completely useless, right? So before you buy it, I
yeah.
think about things like, what kind of plan are they selling? Is this something which is a crippled plan? If
Mm,
this is their top tier plan, how many months am I paying for? Am I paying for like 60 months, or am I paying for 36 months?
yeah. Yeah.
And am I going to get all the updates and things of that nature, right?
Mm,
Because you see a lot of disappointment later on, and the bigger the company, the bigger the disappointment can be, right?
definitely.
I
Definitely.
mean, look at Hopin, right? Hopin is a
Mm,
lot more successful company than SpyFu will ever be, right? Like Hopin is like a
mm,
$7-8 billion company. It
yeah.
was on AppSumo. They sold a lifetime deal. Are they honoring it completely? They're not. I mean, they're not
Mm,
giving a lot of features to lifetime deal accounts. They're saying that yes, the lifetime deal is active, but they're not adding a lot of features, right? So it could happen
mm,
to anybody. So just be careful, right? I mean, if you think it is useful, yes, use it. I don't think I'm an expert around SpyFu. Ruhani, what's
yeah.
your take on
Yeah.
it? I mean, yeah.
I mean, it looks great on paper, but are we going to use it or not? That's my concern because if we don't, yeah, for now it seems like okay. In some point of time we are going to use it, but some point of time, that's the keyword. So um, if we think about some point of time, I think we should not buy things. It should be I am going to use it right now, and I bought Fusio, converted my Notion database into this database. So
Yes.
it went into work straight away, whichever small scale it is, but it went to work. So now if I think that, okay, Spyro, do I need it in my real life? Like, do I have that need for my work or for my personal reasons? I don't see it immediately. I see it. I might need it. So I'm holding on to that. Like, okay, step back a little bit.
Yes.
But if
David.
if if you have an immediate use, of course, it makes sense for you or anybody like Jaideep. Yeah. if it makes sense for you that you're going to put it on action right away,
Yes.
go ahead. That's a great deal. Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense. I mean, I like the fact that everybody in our community is for sane advice. Like, David Taggart is saying, I love Fusio. So that's the one which you
Yeah.
have
Thanks,
mentioned,
David.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is built with Pusio, and I'm going to show you a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is a database, as you can see.
Yes.
So I even have credit system, discount system, and it comes with a workflow. So basically, you can set certain things that if your refund date is near, send an email out, uh, like such things. If I update the purchase date, then change the refund date according to the platform. So if it is AppSumo, then update the refund date to 60 days. So all these things you can do. You can have web form to collect data.
Yes.
So it is a useful no-code database tool, and I can create a new app. So by default, I have selected all these.
And this
I
is the
can keep
one
my
which you
login
built,
email.
Ruhani, right? No, this is a different one.
No. This is a tool called Fusio.
Fusio. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
So
you
I
built
converted
something
my
similar, right? Like
data.
initially. Yeah.
Yes. So I bring in all the data from there to over here. So each of them have their own, they are multi-UA connected data. So I can keep track of everything. So this is, I took it as a test work that um, how I can see the overview. So on the Notion template, the missing area was all this graph to give you the sense of where you are spending the money. You can see half of my whole purchase is actually AppSumo. So it makes sense for me to actually have AppSumo Plus. So this year, probably not, because I have already stopped buying things a lot. I mean, really a lot. If I check last 30 days, I'm not sure how much I spent. So I still spend about 980
Ruhani,
in
didn't you
last 30
didn't
days.
you have some of this already built into a tool which you created? You did, right?
Yeah, that's the Notion template. So
Yes.
I just migrated the data from
Oh,
there
okay.
over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you already had all this data there and you migrated
Yes.
it into Fusio. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense. Yes.
The great thing about Fusio is it's a no-code tool. Means basically you don't have to do any coding. Also, they can do data mapping, which is people like us, we really appreciate these kind of things. So you have different type of fields of data. For example, you have date fields in your previous data, and you want to convert it to a text field. You can actually map it, or you can do vice versa. That is a text field, which is a date. You want to convert it to a date format. So those are nice things.
How easy is it compared to, like, I mean, has it got anything unique compared to
Uh,
Airtable, right? Like,
So it's kind of like an application focus. So you can have external data coming in using web forms. So that is one thing I can see that is different. And eventually, I think they have API. So you can create your own custom app on top of this. So you don't have to expose this at all. The great thing about this is you can actually, if you go and create a new app, there's so much options. Where is it? New. So you can,
are these guys pretty well
if
funded? Or like, what's the deal with Fusio? Like, I mean, how long have they been around? Like, I'm not familiar with Fusio. Like,
they
I
have been
got
around like
Airtable
3 4
credits, so I've been
years.
using
Yeah.
that, but yeah.
No, I mean Airtable is Airtable, right? So it is
Yes.
like Ecamm Live.
Yeah.
So if I want to compare Airtable, then they are like Ecamm Live. And if I want to compare Fusio, they are like Melon kind of, or maybe Web.video. So
Okay. Got it.
yeah, in that
Okay.
sense. And what they help you to create tiny no-code apps for your
Yeah.
purpose. You can create a CRM, custom CRM, within a few clicks. You can create your own CRM.
And yeah. I mean, yeah. So CRM basically you can create in a lot of different tools you can use as CRM,
Yeah.
right? You could
So
technically
Vinit
use like
asked that.
Google as
Yeah.
whatever sheets or Google Contacts as your CRM as well, right? Like so.
Yeah. So David actually replied. They started at 2015, and they have VC money, including from Microsoft, and they are a Bulgarian company.
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell Vinit. So Vinit, this is not actually about displaying data. This is about inserting data as well. So I can insert my meetings, which you cannot do in Google Data Studio, no matter how you try. And I can change the structure of these anytime by reconfiguring how I want it to be. And there are field rules, means I can actually add actions depending on which field has been filled up or which field is empty. I can do certain things. So this is not directly comparable to Data Studio. The only reason you asked about Data Studio because of my interface. So this is nothing. This is not the power play of this. The listing, the tables are the power play of this tool.
It looks clean. It looks clean, right? I mean, talking of no code apps, I think StatB was again on AppSumo or is on AppSumo.
Mm-hmm. It's
Or
been forever. It's been forever there.
yeah, like I mean, in have you used StackB at all? Like I didn't end up
I
using
did. I
it.
did. I bought twice and I refunded twice because at some point I wanted an interface and also wanted data display, such as this. So it didn't came with both. It came with a very basic. If I compare with Airtable, it will be halfway there. So yeah,
See,
that's the reason I
this is the
refunded.
risk of going live in the community, right? You come to know of tools, and then you, and then it sort of like piques your interest, and then you end up buying it. So thanks
No, I'm
to
not talking about
you,
buying it. So what I'm saying that the
yeah,
data can be structured by in no code way. So uh,
yeah,
what you can do when you create a new app, for example, they have a lot of app templates. Where is this? Okay, maybe probably here. So this is
I
the
like the fact
important
that they
part.
have
So
VC money and they've been around since 2015, right? I mean,
so
you want companies which have been around a little bit, right? Not like, hey,
mhm,
I came up with this idea and I worked on it for a month, and here it is. I am selling to you a lifetime deal, right? I mean, like I like companies like
yeah.
Vinit's company has been around for I think 10 years, 12 years.
Mhm.
So there is a little bit like huge commitment to it, right? So you want
Yeah.
companies which have that commitment, right? It's a lot more safer type of investment versus
Yes. Yes.
some
Definitely.
you don't want like a fly by night operation, right? Like you want to see
Mm,
founders who are committed to. So I mean, hard to say again,
yeah.
but I like the fact that they have been around since 2015.
Yeah. So what they did, they actually created small utility stuff like
Yeah,
you want to manage your expenses or you want to manage your invoice. You don't actually need a CRM. This system can one click can create a system for you. You can customize just like a Notion table
yeah.
and see your invoice is ready. Invoice line items you can create your clients. So your invoice management become instantly possible in this tool. So who you have given the invoice is also tracked. So you have a mini CRM instantly if you need it. So this is why it piqued my interest because it came with so many templates. You can create application tracker, asset management, HR management,
Yeah.
all these tiny things, right? Including project management. For example, I just created a project management app without having any knowledge. See, this is a Kanban view, right?
Neat.
So
Yes.
immediately you can drag and drop, done. So now in this case, it took off to Trello. I don't need Trello anymore. I have my custom uh, project tracking tool. You can
Yes.
invite people and they will become members. So it's not about whether you need to buy or not. It's about whether it is solving a problem for you immediately. If it doesn't solve a problem for you, then is no point buying it at all.
True. I think Airtable recently, actually, just today, or they added some new features in their free plan. So I think they are now giving, I think, up to 5 collaborators for each workspace for free. And then they have like you get
Yeah.
one app per base, and then you can sync in integration or something like that. So I think they're adding a lot more features in their free plan from today.
Yeah.
Which is great because for a lot of the folks, a lot of the times a free plan might be sufficient, right? So
Yes.
depending on the use case. Yes,
Like Notion.
exactly.
Notion free, it's an amazing thing. I mean, they have given you so much. I mean, when we went to Pro, and I was like, why did I even came to Pro? Certain difference is like, okay, I don't upload that much of images. I keep data. So for data, free plan is really, really good.
Yes, I admire the fact that yes, there are companies, and these are very well established companies. They can do that.
Yeah.
But even some of the free plans, versus compared to what you see in the LTD world, in some of the, like, of course there are, like, I think 10,000, 11,000 tools on AppSumo or whatever, right? Like most of them are probably I'm never going to use them, right? Like, so I'm never going to actually, don't even, you don't even notice them, kind of, because it's kind of hard to, it's such a crowded space. But of course,
No,
AppSumo
I mean, your
select.
brain can process so many at how many it can process at one time, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
how many are
maybe
actually going to
5.
use? How many are you actually
Yeah.
going to use? And what's like the total cost of ownership, right? Like, when you buy a tool, like if I'm looking into a project, I'm going to look at the total cost of ownership for an enterprise collaboration project, from how much the resources are going to cost to design, manage, optimize, maintain throughout its entire life cycle and beyond, right? What's the total cost of ownership, right? Like, so with these LTD tools, like, a lot of them could be a complete, like, utter waste of time, right? So you have to be careful in terms of what tools you
How
adopt
you're,
and where you
yeah,
spend your time, right? So yeah.
exactly. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen now.
Yes, we can go
Okay.
back to
Yeah.
our, there we go. Yes. So going back, I wanted to talk a little bit about community tools as well.
Yep.
And I was looking at some of the community tools for the fact that, we want to be able to have a, so I was looking into Forum, and I self-deployed Forum is self-hosted on DigitalOcean, and yes. But hey, before we get into that, let me quickly get one question here from Huzaifa Farouk, right? What he is saying is, please share your opinion on GetScreen.me or alternative. So I
No,
haven't
I
used.
replied him. Yeah.
Oh, you did reply to
I
him.
re-
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Good. Okay.
So
Okay.
I use it in a daily basis to support my mom, my sister
Oh yeah,
in
you mentioned.
US, my mom in
Yes.
my home country. Then my kids' computer, I also control how much time she's using her computer for. So it's a pretty simple tool, and I've been using it almost a year, and I have no regrets. It's a good tool.
Any desk, you could use any desk too, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah. So for some reason, my mom and two of my friends,
yeah.
they are not equipped to use that any desk. I keep on asking them for a few months, and they don't.
No, okay.
So once I send them the pre-packaged exe file. So
Yes.
basically, how GetScreen works, that it auto logs into the account in the target machine
Yeah.
once you send the file. So for my mom was like she double click the file and that's it,
Okay.
and it's done.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that gave me the comfort factor, and also that I can actually manage it from Telegram channel, Telegram chat. I can see their screens and also open the screen in iPad while I'm traveling and fixing something. So it's solved quite a lot of small annoying things that my mom cannot pick up or my sister cannot pick up. So I solved it with GetScreen.me. Yeah.
So yes, so going okay, so going back to community tools, so I looked into Forum. Of course, Forum is a very popular open source platform, it being AGPL version 3.0, and it has like over 600 contributors. It's like very active contributor community. And of course, the forum folks are the dev.to guys. So they have an extremely active developer community
Yep.
with like some ridiculous count, like over like maybe 90,000, 100,000 members who are active. And I mean, the actual total count would be much higher, probably like a lot higher. So I mean, I looked at Forum. It's a very promising tool. Of course, there is a cost associated with it. When you self-host something, you maintain it. If you want to add custom features, you can do that. You have to have a CLA agreement with the developer team at Forum, and then you have to release everything back into the community, and they can choose if they want to use that feature and that code and release it back as part of the as part of their next version release, whatever that would be, right? So a copyleft
Yeah.
license, yes, you can you use it for free, but then whatever you build, you have to release it back again. Interesting. So coming back to that, I noticed there was a topic around Pencil. So I started using Pencil, and I felt like, oh wow, this is so much like Forum, right? But digging deeper into it, I think that they have built it on their own. Now they had an open source project that they built, which got absolutely no traction, zero traction.
Okay.
In on AppSumo, they have like basically mentioned that their previous version was open source, but now it's going to be like a closed source type of platform.
Okay. All right.
They're not going to release any code. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this looks very suspicious. Even the questions were answered, like I tagged the founder, and he wouldn't clarify that this is not a copy, or this is not like a hosted version of Forum, right? There are a lot of similarities, but I mean, Forum was written for developers, so it has like a liquid tags, which Shopify built. It supports like a markup editor. So Forum, it is like designed for developers, right? So versus Pencil, of course, the editor is simplified, and so there are similarities, but there are a lot more different features around Pencil. So I mean, to give the benefit of the doubt, let's just say that Pencil is not forked from Forum. It is an independent software, but still leaves a little bit of a doubt, because I mean the interface doesn't look that great. There are challenges with like which you're seeing with this whole UU key thing as well, which a lot of people.
Sajwal just commented. You should check his comment.
Okay, all right. Let me just get that in there.
Yeah.
So let me show David's comment here as well.
Mm.
David, thanks for that feedback. Fusio
Yeah,
looks great.
definitely.
So, and I'm using it already. Spent like 5 hours. Okay, 1 second. Speaking of forum tools, Yuki co-founder has an already failed community back in 2015 named UChat. Found the other day. Wow, Sajwal. So,
Our detective
yeah,
going to work. Yeah.
yes. Yes. So, I mean, what surprised me about Yuki was the fact that you have Audio TV and a lot of people put faith into Audio TV, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I invited Ankur on a live stream, but I have
Mm-hmm.
always been very skeptical. I actually refunded Wadu TV as well for the
Mm.
fact that
I still have it. I still have it.
you still have it. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And a lot of people seem to be happy with it too. So,
Yeah.
of course, there are differences of opinion, and
Mm.
in I mean, if it suits your
Yeah, mine
purpose,
is
that's great.
unused. I haven't used it.
Oh, you haven't used it. Then you
Yeah.
should. You should use it and see if it makes sense. Because what I heard was like
Yeah.
there was a time when I was doing a local recording of 4K files,
Mm-hmm.
and for 4K
Mm-hmm.
files, like what I heard was like you cannot go up to 4K
Mm.
on Wadu TV and upload them. So anyway, it wasn't going to meet my requirement.
Yeah.
And I passed out like and just and so like I can continue using Bunny Stream. So
Right. Bunny
yeah,
Stream is like solid. It's like a
yeah,
proven tool.
yeah, yeah. You end up spending money, but again, there is a quality associated with it. Like it's a
So,
good interface. Yes.
you remember, right? I mentioned that some of my purchases are high in the stack of money, and they are unused. So this is one example that that I didn't use at all, but it was costly. It was a costly purchase, but
Yeah.
I didn't use. Yep. So these are the lessons that we might think we need this thing maybe 6 months later, but actually we don't need, because we have Berrycast, we have SensePark, we have the one Joe uses. What's the name? Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, Vidstep or something? Was it Vidstep?
No. Another one. Why I can't remember at this moment. Yeah, so we have all these tools. Then there is Vadu TV, and yes, it has marketing tools and some CTA options and such stuff. But in last 1 year, I haven't seen any changes in the UI. I mean, it's no longer a matter of reinventing, because there are so many video tools out there. You can just look at their navigation, how they have crafted their UI, and take a hint out of it. And why you can't do that until 6 months, 8 months later, right? One part of it is they actually split their attention into multiple products, which happens in this LTD world. That they take the money, then they start another product, and so on. So the previous product become not giving enough attention. So this is what happened to this VMaker. Yeah, VMaker.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ankit is
Hi,
saying
Ankit.
VMaker.
Hey,
What was
Sam.
interesting
Yeah.
to me is like I looked at like and I if I'm working or something or if I'm doing something where I can listen to, so I listened to this podcast. It's My First Million, and it's an interesting podcast. I really like it, and I was listening to Noah Kagan was there, and of course, like you gotta, he's a very smart guy, especially with his money. And I was listening to this podcast, and Noah was talking about how he invests his money, and he invested in Circle. So, which sort of like I was thinking, okay, so here is a guy. who's like taking the money which people invested in Yuki, a community, whatever, like peer board, pencil, whatever you take, like you name it, right? Like there is like 15 different community platforms, and he didn't invest in any of them because of the fact that he didn't see any feature in any of the tools he was selling. He
Yeah.
saw a feature in a tool he is positioning the tools against, right? So he's an investor in circle.so, which is a community building platform for creators. And
Yep.
circle.so, again, it's a great platform. And
Definitely. I mean, if you put circle, right, so circle will be at number 8 or 9 out of 10, right? Then maybe community and all other tools are actually below 4. They are not even reaching 5. Circle is at 8. So that in numbers way of thinking, circle is that much mature, and they know what they're doing. They know the business. They know why they're making it and why it need to be success. So yes.
yes, so David, I saw that interview. David is saying Noah has been asked if we invest in any of the deals on the site. He said, "No, I invest in the tools that we use to run Sumo." That's exactly right. I saw that podcast, My First Million, and he said that very clearly, right? And that's something which is interesting because, of course, Noah is a very smart guy, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
respect that about him. And look at how he's investing his money, right? He's investing in tools which they're going to use at AppSumo, in tools which will have a future, like basically who have recurring customers and things of that nature. Yeah, yeah. So yes, Ankit is saying no is constantly featuring in My First Million. Completely the opposite of practicing what you preach. Nilesh is correct. Yeah, Ankit, thanks. Yeah. I mean, it is a bit surprising because, like, won't you want like Yuki or Pencil to be successful? Won't you like if you are like
Yeah.
if you have all this money, wouldn't you want to invest in like a platform which you are selling and recommending to people and asking them to buy, that this is going to be the replacement for Circle? But no, you go and invest in Circle, like which is like, okay, that's really smart. So you know, that's people need to start thinking in that terms, right? Like people really need to start thinking about what they are buying and how they are investing in tools. I mean, nothing against Pencil, like seems like great founders. They took some time to clarify. I looked into it. Like I can more than happy to share the screen and show my forum installation and compare it a little bit. Like though there are similarities, like there are subtle similarities, like their whole forum app is in like using like web view, and the way the layout is. But
Yep.
if you look at the layout, then Yuki is very similar to Pencil as well. So
Yes.
where do we
So
start?
I want to say something to David. So basically, what I understand from the LTD world, that you look at the concept of the tools.
Yeah,
So if it is an email sending tool, how many features there are, right? And what finally what you do, if you are a professional and if you want to run a business for long term, then you go to the subscription model of that tool, or you find an alternative professional tool that has been in the market with that similar features. So right now, the LTD world is basically our playground, kind of like we are doing some experiments, basically, and in our expense, we are doing the experiment and we are figuring out that we need these features. So we can go and dig out which professional tools actually have those features and pay them money. So Noah is doing similar things, that 90, as he is saying, 90% of his tools are professional tools. Of course, his company is big, and they're making solid money. So they want professional tools to take care of them, not LTD tools. So this is important because I give you one example. Nilesh will be able to relate directly. So if somebody asked me, so I had this question last month from my friend. So he is building a hospital and he asked me what should be the networking system to put in there. So I gave him a diagram.
Yeah.
I gave him a diagram with Cisco and there is another company called Unify.
Yeah.
I think they are right. Unify ceiling routers.
Yeah.
And I gave him this idea. Yes, it's costly.
Ubiquity.
So
I
he
think
asked me
Ubiquity.
Ubiquity. Yeah, Ubiquity. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So Ubiquity. Yeah. So I like their devices. I like Cisco's stability. So at the end of the day, yes, you can have a TP-Link router, but yes, then your connection will drop ridiculously. So you need to know how you put the infrastructure plan, and you cannot trust like a smaller company to handle that load. A hospital will have thousands of people, right? So if you do not plan it properly uh, per floor, your internet just will not work. So all
Yeah.
of these things, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like there are certain businesses where there is no there is you cannot compromise on certain things, right? Like, I mean, it
Yes.
all depends on the latency and stuff. Like, I'll give you an example. Like,
Yeah.
we so I used to work as a solutions architect, like designing systems, network infrastructures, and like at the end of my job, I focused heavily on enterprise collaboration. But when I started a company, and we were doing like data centers, enterprise networks and things of that nature, because we couldn't pick and choose. Like, we wanted to get as many services, and we were building. So I built and we designed a network infrastructure for Ontario Financing Authority, which is like the organization which manages Ontario's debt, right? Like, so every single day they trade in billions of dollars, right? Where every single fraction of a second kind of matters in terms of how you put up your trades. And for that, you need something which is extremely low latency. You need to have sort of like a good connectivity with your exchanges,
Yeah.
and so it's all depending on physics, the kind of network. So there is no compromise, right? Like, there is no compromise. There is nothing as such as like a budget for that, right? So that's like
Yes.
a mega project where you can buy top of the line stuff, and if there is not something which is available, then you look into combining systems, whatever, right? Like, so you spend as much money as possible, and that's like a no compromise system, right? Like, whereas for something like a small business or an independent user, yes, you have to make a lot of compromises in terms of but at what expense is also a question, right?
Yeah.
Am I managing Ontario's debt? I'm not, right? But I can. But like, would I be okay if I buy like a TP-Link router? Maybe not. Maybe I should invest in something like 802.11ax or whatever the standard would be, and buy a decent router, like have a stable connectivity so that I can stream or do my video meetings with customers without interruption, without compromise, dropping packets. So you got to think in that terms, right? Like, so yes, you don't need to, I would say, buy the most expensive app and subscribe, but you do some due diligence around what tools you use for your LTD as well, right?
Yes.
And that's what I don't understand about like Noah, because yes, I mean, he has all the power in terms of putting all this money into Pencil or UUKey and fund them and try to make them, but he's not going to do that. You know why? Because he knows that it would be a waste of time and money.
So I was watching something last night.
Yeah.
And this topic that you are talking about, Noah, it kind of resonates with that.
Yes.
So let me tell you the story. In Netflix, there is a new show called Vikings Valhalla. It's a new Vikings show. So the Viking king went and took over England, and what he said. So during that time, the England supporter supposed to came and attack them. They didn't. So he says, "Oh, I am so gracious to you. You become my guest." And what he did, when that guy became the guest, he chopped his head off. And then he said, "This guy, he already backstabbed England's king. So now he want to become friend with me. He will backstab me in not so distant future." Makes sense, because when Noah is looking at this, right? Are they going to keep their promise? It is
Yeah.
important for him to look at the person who didn't keep their promise with the previous person.
Yeah.
We also look at it in the professional way. So when I interview people in our office or similar things, I check why did they leave the company, the previous company, in 6 months. I do not like this. Personally, I don't like this means they do not have a loyalty to the company in the work and the work. They didn't give the time. So most of the time what I do, I cut them off at the very beginning, but I do give them an option to have a chat with me first. So maybe there was some other issue that is I'm unaware of.
Yes.
But generally speaking, I don't like people who backstab somebody else. They cannot be friend of me, even that somebody else was my enemy.
True.
So there's a logic to it, because he backstabbed his friend in that sense, and tomorrow he will do the same thing with me. So this is important.
Yes.
And this is the
100%.
point Noah is looking at. Yeah.
100%. And to be fair, like, I mean, Sajwal is saying, to be fair, business with $100 million revenue and 100K annual have different requirements. Sajwal, you're absolutely right. We're not
Yep.
saying that, right? Like, we there are different requirements. I think I just clarified in my example that, hey, my requirement is not the same as like a big corporation, like somebody who's managing Ontario's debt. But within my limits for my requirement, I should still look into what would be more reliable and useful for me based on my requirements, right? And
Yep.
sadly, like there are a lot of LTD tools which could end up being as I said, like a complete waste of time, right? I mean, in tools like that, right? My opinion is around tools like that. You should die as quickly as possible. Like, what happens is like there should be almost like a crowdfunding consensus, like where we have this whole idea about SaaS Tribe, what we wanted to do, that should the founder get this money or not, right? I mean, that's something which has to be decided, like a Kickstarter project, where like it's not like you guaranteed it like that. It's just like if you selling all these like 11,000 founders come in, not all the 11,000 founders actually get the money. Maybe only 11 actually get the money if they meet that threshold and criteria.
Yes.
And enough people actually invest money into it, right? Because hey, if like I'll give you an example. Like when you buy, like if like let's say 200 people from like a 20,000 user community, only 200 people decide to buy a tool, and let's say AppSumo collects 10,000, gives 5,000 to the developer, and keeps 5,000 for them. What's the developer going to do with that $5,000? He's going to take that money, right? Depending on where they are located, maybe that will last him for a few months to a few years.
Yeah.
And then by that time, it would be very hard for him to sell. Like, I mean, which we've already seen, right? Like, what looks appealing and attractive to a subset of users might not actually be appealing and selling in the larger scheme of things when you try to sell it at a recurring cost on a monthly basis. Or one-time cost, $50, it's okay, right? But the amount of time you waste into it, like,
Yeah, I think there's a sweet spot. You see, one of my first purchase was niches. Did I pronounce it correctly? Was it Niches, the AI writer?
Yes, niches. Yes, niches. Yes.
Niches.
Yeah.
So there was a data leaked out. The niches had made in last 1 year around 550,000 US dollar after paying Epsilon. Means that's their revenue out of that, and that's a single person utility, and it actually helps. I realized that this tool has been progressing. It never stopped. It is always progressing, always creating, adding new things, furnishing their AI system and such. And then I started to realize locally in Malaysia, there are many companies, they are using niches and generate their emails, that cold emails or even communication emails and rewrite some of the things using that. And that means there's a lot of people already picked up because the volume was so big and the price was so low. So in that sweet spot, that product is still progressing and made a huge amount of money because he's a one-man show and he's keeping his promises.
Yeah.
He's keep on improving. So this is what I think eventually I'm expecting this tool to be bought out by some big companies because it already reached a mass amount of people, which people don't talk about. They just keep it in their stack. They don't talk about anywhere. They want to talk about all those shiny objects, right? But they don't talk about niches. But it is been there, cheap, unlimited, and it's working all along. So yeah.
Oh, definitely. I think you know, Niches was one of our first live streams ever.
Yes.
Malcolm, right? Was it Malcolm?
Malcolm.
Yeah. Yes, we that was our first live stream. It's there somewhere. I mean, if you look at that whole live stream, it was like a whole panic situation, right? Like when you go live for the first time in your life, it's like, you know, you're more concerned about like, oh, should I look here, there? Am I showing things correctly? Like, are people hearing me? Like, there's a whole like a million things going on, right? But that was like, you could tell that was our first live. But Malcolm was our first guest actually, and Win and I, we did it, and yeah, he was very. You know, it was the first time for Malcolm too, I think, because he would come into the screen and I think there was light issues, but it worked out okay. Yeah, he did well. So, so that's my story about Niches Ronnie. I think you know, and I think Pamela posted something about Niches very recently that he did some improvements around the long form, which is quite incredible. I think, but what she was giving feedback around niches was that long form was actually better than some of the other tools which she had used, which I found very interesting. So David is saying, not saying there are not great LTD tool. Heavens knows, I spent a boatload on them. Just saying that a lot of people spend $500 on random video editors when they could have had Adobe the whole time for the same price or cheaper and do everything you wanted. Most people don't seem to think through their needs and being realistic. Yes, absolutely right. That's a big problem, right? And most people don't seem to be realistic, but there is also like you know, people get paid for doing this stuff, right? Like, and you know, people are pushing software which other people don't need and then get paid for it, right? So you got to be careful what kind of discussions and reviews, like, you know, there's a whole conversation around like fake reviews and things of that nature, so just be careful.
Fake reviews is a new trend.
Yeah, I mean, talking of fake reviews, and I'll show you something. Let me share my screen here. So Sajwal is saying, or even better, they have Photoshop, but drop $5 on LT. That not 1% of Photoshop. That's true, actually, Sajwal. You know, yeah, people will leave what they have and then go for like the next shiny object, completely even forgetting that I haven't even used the one which I have. And then how am I going to put this one to use, right? But
Yeah.
that's but humans by nature are a little bit greedy, right? Like, so you want the best tools, and which results into a lot of disappointment, right? Like, so for sure. Yep, there is buying tools you need, and there is shiny object syndrome, for sure. Very true. Last LTD I got was Riku.ai and haven't looked at anything lately. Me too. Sajwal. Niches is very, very uncommon example because 90% of the workload is done by OpenAI. Who is that? Oh, Vinit is saying.
No, that's Vinit. Yeah, he's right. My point was not actually about the OpenAI. It was about how intelligently he's handling the thing, right? He's staying out of sight. He's not making so much fuss out of it. You will see the pricing and the second-hand market will go around $39
Yeah.
to $40, even 29. But the thing is, his user base becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the same time, he is also improving the tool, even using OpenAI. Yes, you are right that the thing might go wrong once OpenAI changes the prices. But my point was not that. My point was that he is being a sleeper system by himself and the tool itself. It started so much earlier, but a lot of people forget about niches. Like, where was it? Nobody talks about it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
people are using
and
it.
when I recall when we asked him this question around like, hey, do you think at some stage you're gonna end up paying money from your own pocket, you giving this
Yeah.
unlimited thing for lifetime? And he was like, very few users are actually like using it. Very few people would actually exhaust that limit and be like, but he's I think if I mentioned correctly, you're saying like one user, $39 almost pays for the entire month's usage for everybody
Yes.
else, which was like, yeah, he has got a like years and years of runway. I mean, I'm not sure if we're gonna last that long, kind of thing, right? So
No. I think his hidden vision is basically picked up by a big company, right? Is his hidden vision. So he's not talking about it, but once somebody will come and scoop it up for a few $1 million. So imagine the benefit he get out of that.
yeah, something like this is an interesting one, right? So niches was kind of early in a way. So there was Headline, which was doing really well, and I think there was Shortly AI, which was doing really well.
Yeah.
And Malcolm was actually kicked out by and blocked by the Headline founder for the fact that Malcolm was actually working on the AI, content writing tool as well, because Headline at the time was getting a lot of popularity. And of course, people know the Headline story, like Jarvis. What is it called? Jarvis? No, or what is it Jarvis called now? Jasper. Yes, Jasper. Yeah. So Jasper, which was Jarvis, and before that it was something else. Whatever it was, right? Acquired Headline. And Headline, of course, they decided not to develop it any further. Within, Headline, from being such a great hero and being such a good tool, it went to suddenly became like public enemy number one, right? Like, because they said, we're not going to develop it. Of course, there was no talk about refund of money or anything like that. They gave 30% discount for lifetime, I think, for Jarvis, but you still had to pay for subscription. I just don't think I'm that kind of person who would pay for that. But so I'm stuck with Headline, and it still works. I don't really use it for anything. But Niches was there, and he took up And he's been around. So fair dues to him. He's stuck with the app, and keep on building it. And maybe there are some complaints around slow progress and things of that nature. But still, fair dues to him. He built it, and he's continued developing it. So I hope he does well. So yes, if somebody does acquire it, I mean, good for him. I'm nothing. I like companies which get acquired, for sure. If founders make money, that's great, right? If you can protect the interest of people who actually, because you have a say in that at the time of getting acquired, you should. But other than that, happy for Malcolm
Yeah,
if they get acquired, or Vinit. If Vinit sells his company for a billion dollars.
Venus tool is very good also.
Yes, yes,
I must say, I checked their demo site and all, and
yeah,
it is very unique for real estate and travel people. I mean, those who are dealing with travel in a day-to-day basis. It's a fine utility and well done actually. And yeah, for me, I don't have a direct use case, but other than that, I can see that how it can fit for multiple different type of users for real estate. And I mean, out of my head, I can think of two instantly, that the travel industry and real estate industry. So it can also be used for Airbnb kind of things, like where you want to show off your property using this tool. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
yes. So there is. I
Yeah,
ended up
Tom
buying
was asking.
Jarvis. By the way, nothing could match the output quality after digging in deep. And who is that?
It's Sajol.
Sajal. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jarvis, I mean, it's a pretty interesting community. I always see people posting comment I'm in that community. I haven't bought Jarvis, but how are you using Sajal? Are you making thousands of dollars, like what they say that people are making by selling articles written by Jasper? Or I don't know. I mean, I would, if I have to write an article on the contact center, it will, like you know it requires me a lot of time, and it's a different feel. I don't think Jasper is going to be able to do that, right? Like I'll have to do my own thinking and write it, but depends on the topic, I guess. Or can it really write about anything?
I think the quality of output, what they have done over time, is refined output. Means uh, when you press generate like 3 times, the 3 outputs will be pretty solid to use. So now what happens that a lot of AI tools, their level of refinement is not there. So the usability wise, Jasper wins in that terms. The quality of output.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And have you used it? Like, do you use Jasper? Have you used it a little bit?
I used it last year, so I got it for 2 months subscription. Then I didn't use, because all those shiny objects around us. So we are
Yes.
playing with this one, we are playing with that one. Then I end up noticing that I'm paying for monthly subscription, but haven't actually used it, so I canceled it. But I actually didn't get dig deep inside like how Sajwal did.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, when I have seen the other reviews, I noticed that their quality of output is what matters. That's very important, that you are generating a text about computers, laptops, but not necessarily PCs or desktops. So the generation on that context is correct. It is talking about laptops, not desktop PCs, or even though they are in the same category. So this is the intelligence level that they have, and I think this is why they are winning. The fine refinement of those out.
Tom is saying I'm still
Yeah.
using and paying for Evernote mainly for its ability to do text searches within all my saved PDFs and images. Other than that, it's fallen well behind other leading solutions, in my opinion. Do you know of any LTDs that can do in PDF and in image text searches across multiple file stocks?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to reconfirm this again, there's Microsoft OneNote can do this because they can extract the text from the images and PDFs, but I haven't tested it yet. So you might need to do a testing on it. Yeah. I also need to do a test on, I have another tool that I use daily is Nimbus Note, but haven't tested for this specific purpose, like looking inside PDF and images. Yeah.
Yeah, so Sajal was saying, oh, I might buy Gummy Search, real good stuff. Interesting. I looked into Gummy Search a little bit. I like so my idea of business development is of course different. So I mean, I don't have a use for it. But how? And so I didn't really look into I'm part of some Reddit communities and things of that nature. Maybe I could do some more research using Gummy Search on Reddit. I just don't know if my kind of buyer would be hanging out on Reddit. Like most of my customers would be hanging out on LinkedIn, and
Yes.
so I would be on LinkedIn more. It's like a professional network kind of thing. Of course, Reddit has a lot of power, extremely active communities, and depending on the type
But
of product you
knowing,
have, it might be very
yeah,
appealing for you.
yes.
I mean, there are a lot of very active investor communities out there, a lot of crypto communities, all sorts of communities, right? On Reddit for sure. Reddit is massive, no doubts, right? I just don't know, they're not like a big cloud contact centers, enterprise collaboration type of communities on Reddit, and there are none because of course this everybody wants to charge a fortune for anything you do. So there is not like a free exchange of information out there on forums and things. There are Cisco communities which are run on Cisco platforms and things like that. So for Reddit is not much of use to me. If I don't know, but I'm sure there is a use for it for a lot of people. So yeah.
But Vinit is right. You will be surprised to see the audience inside Reddit. I mean, it's pretty insane because I have seen a diversity of people over there that you can tap on. The problem right now in Reddit is their search engine is not that great. Somebody already mentioned this. Yeah, David already said that their search is very bad. Oh, did I miss it? Is it David? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, their search is not good. But if you dig down, like go into subreddits and go inside it, you will find a lot of discussions that um, David was saying that they won't talk about it on LinkedIn because it's a professional network. Your bosses are there, your colleagues are there. They might not be able to talk about it. They are very skeptical how they are going to post it on LinkedIn or Twitter or even Facebook. Facebook, you have your family around you. So they go and actually can rant about it in Reddit, which this part is very true. Even I ranted in Reddit few times. So yeah.
Interesting. Hey, we gotta come back to um, Tom's question around Evernote
Yeah.
replacement, right? We can Tom, give us some time. We'll see what works and what
Yeah.
tool might be a good
So
use.
I
Yeah.
will check Nimbus Note that I own and also
Yeah.
will check OneNote. So I will see whether I can put PDF and image files and I can actually search them or not. If I can, then I can recommend to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Nimbus Note and Notejoy as well. I can check and let you know.
Yeah.
Just allow us some time, Tom, and we will
Yeah.
get back to you, right? We'll tag you into this thing. Maybe after the live, give us maybe a day or two. We'll tag you and come back to you on that. Vinit is saying, thanks, Rani and Nilesh. You're welcome, Vinit. If you do sell your company, do keep us in mind. Yes, yeah, we will always be happy to come and see you and party with you. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're party
So,
people.
yeah, yeah. Because Reddit is trash at search. I don't know why, but they don't improve it. So that's what David is saying.
Actually, my girlfriend was here also because we are supposed to go out. So I don't know what time is it. Okay, 12 something. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to wrap up, or do you have like 5-10 minutes, or what do you want to do?
I have 5 minutes. Yeah, I have 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just go through some of these comments here. I'm not selling them. I'm writing it for my own use. For example, I wrote a very decent 1600 word article this morning in 1 hour. So, Sajwal, let us know how you are doing in terms of that article. Like, is it ranking on your first page, like on the search, Google search? And are you seeing like immediate results and stuff? Like, where people are claiming some insane stuff out there, right? And now I'm thinking, like, okay, should I go back to Jasper and say, hey, give me my 30% discount and here's my money, right? Or just stick to niches, right? Like, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that out loud. I don't think I'm going to do that.
I'm also sticking with Writer, one of my early purchase, and I have noticed that it pretty much generates a very good result compared to other tools. Yes, their limits are low, but once I got into their unlimited plan, which is yearly, and it my girlfriend uses it like every day, and she writes a lot because I can see the report. Like she uses 500,000 words in last month. That's a lot of generation.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you do written content at scale and you want top tier stuff, Jarvis is worth it. David, thank you for that. Keep that in mind. I want to give back Jarvis another try.
Yeah, me too, actually.
For sure. Not even at scale, to be honest. If you hire writers to write more than 4 blog posts a month, I don't hire writers actually. I mean, I would I would like to write my own articles. I just don't. I just pick up the phone call, and now that all the all the mandates around from the COVID are scaled back, and there are no mandates anymore, right? Like I could do lunch meetings and stuff like that. I'm into a zone where, yes, I could easily call a director or any decision maker, VPs, whatever, right, and talk to them, go meet them in their office, go for lunch or something. And I don't need to write an article for that, right? Like that's been my like way of doing business. I should say, like in generating leads, right? Like cold calling and then meeting people. But yes, I can understand totally like how valuable this could be for content writers. Somebody who's into receiving inbound type of leads or traffic, right? Like, so I should get into that a lot more. I've just been a little bit not lazy, but just occupied with work and stuff. But I should look into that. Look at the OpenAI models and their pricing night and day. If someone says unlimited forever, then they probably aren't using DaVinci. Well, that's David's comment. Okay, interesting. I'm not
I
sure
think
what you're referring to, but yes, a
we need
very
to.
percent of full stackers use your product. But in the end, Even a full stack has limits. With niches, they have $39 unlimited. All their server costs are subsidized by OpenAI, was my point. Okay. Yeah. So Vinith is saying, Nilesh, you would be surprised the kind of people that lurk on Reddit. Interesting. So I should be lurking on Reddit more, right? If there's like, yeah, I mean, I would love to hang out there and get some business. So, are you saying Gummy Search is going to be a useful tool for me, Vinith? So, yeah, let me explore it a little bit more. Reddit has threads for everything, and it has anonymity. So things they won't say on LinkedIn, they will say on Reddit. Yeah, Reddit can be pretty nasty too, actually. People say all kinds of like stupid stuff on Reddit. Like anytime there is a comment, there is like hundreds of like really stupid things which people say too, right? So that part is a little bit less appealing for me. Like I've been to some of the crypto communities, and all people are doing is just like shilling, there's like hey, buy this coin, hodl, and it just puts me off a little bit. So you can't do that on LinkedIn. Like, if somebody goes and like starts shilling on LinkedIn, I mean, LinkedIn people are a little bit crazy too. Like people like, just posting, like LinkedIn is like horrible, man. Like especially after Microsoft acquired it, it's become like a tool where everybody is just so grateful for working in their past job, and how they're looking forward to starting a new chapter. That's all you see on LinkedIn, right? But other than that, yeah,
it became pseudo Facebook kind of thing, like self gratification, or showing off kind of thing. I think people are living on it all the time.
Yes. Oh, David is saying, I have to bounce, but this has been great. Have a great night, David. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for all the lovely comments and feedback. Sincerely much appreciated. And depending on where you are based, you're welcome to join into one of our live streams anytime and talk about anything. Just shoot the whatever you want and talk. Yeah, we like to talk about LTD. We can go on for hours, but Ruani has to drop off as well. So last few comments here. If we ever sell our company, I'm bringing all the LTD friends to a board party. That's my kind of founder. So thank you, Vinith. I hope you do sell. And hey, actually,
you do not only do sell, you sell it for 50 or 100 million. Okay.
Yeah.
You hit billions.
Yeah. And I think this would be a good time to rent a mega yacht from one of the Russian oligarchs, right? Because, I mean, if it's being docked somewhere, they might rent it for cheap, or maybe, you got to figure that part out. First, figure out how to sell Teleport May, and then send us a ticket. No. Vinith is doing a great job with his company, so whatever works best for him.
Keeping the product quality, which is which is very important.
Yes, I have tested them all: Phrase, ScaleNut, Outranking, Writer, Word Hero, and ended up with Jarvis. So I think you should definitely look into it. So, Ajwal, thank you. I mean, I'm certainly going to look into Jasper again. I want to get into content writing more. Yeah. All my outreach has been through phone calls. I don't even do cold emails or anything. Like, I do some research on LinkedIn. I do some research on company sites. I'll like just have somebody call, and we do like campaigns. So once we have enough leads, that's enough, right? You don't call. Like, you work on projects, and every project goes through a life cycle where you understand the requirements, design, propose, the sale happens, then you deliver, and then you maintain. So you don't need to look for customers data. It's different type of business, but I want to get into a little bit more like like transactional, more volume type of business. So maybe I should look into some of this inbound leads and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to drop off because
Yes.
she's going to go out.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, Ronnie, thank
for
you
joining.
very much.
Yeah.
I think this
Nilesh.
is the last comment, so I'm going to drop off as well. Thank you, Ronnie, for joining. Thanks a lot, Sajwal, Winit, David, Tom.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Sam. There was, I think, Ankit.
Yeah, Ankit, and what's his name? Wait, let me check. So
Yeah.
there was. Okay, now I can't see the comments.
Yeah. No worries. I mean, thanks to everybody. If I've forgotten your name, I apologize. Thanks to Ronnie again. Enjoy the rest of your
Yeah, of course.
our Sunday afternoon.
Have a good night as well. Yeah.
We'll talk soon. It was great. I think we should do this again on a regular
Yeah.
basis. What do
Yeah.
you say?
Definitely. I recommend that because I have missed out last 1 month. I've been really busy.
Me
for
too.
the
I have
work.
missed out too. So you know what? But let's catch up and do this more often, right? So
Definitely, I agree. Let's do it more on more regular basis. We need this. The community
Absolutely.
feedback is also great. I'm learning so much things even from the comments.
That's great. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks, Ronnie.
All right.
And talk
Bye-bye.
soon, okay? Yeah.
We gonna take on the world.